Imagine waking up, reaching for your coffee, and pressing the power button on your computer only to be met with a frozen screen, a cryptic error message, or worse, a notification telling you that your hardware is no longer supported. This month, millions of American PC users are facing a digital reckoning. Microsoft is pushing a series of updates and policy shifts that could effectively turn your perfectly functional laptop or desktop into an expensive paperweight. We are talking about a massive wave of forced obsolescence that isn't just a glitch in the system, it is a programmed transition. If you think your computer is safe just because it worked yesterday, you need to listen very closely. The clock is ticking toward a deadline that most people don't even know exists, and by the time you see the dreaded blue screen, it might be too late to save your files. Today, I am going to show you exactly why this is happening, which specific American PCs are in the crosshairs, and the precise steps you must take right now to stop Windows from bricking your machine. To understand the scale of this problem, we have to look at the aggressive push toward Windows 11 and the artificial intelligence integration that Microsoft is betting its entire future on. For years, Windows 10 has been the reliable workhorse for millions of families, students, and businesses across the United States. It was stable, it was familiar, and it worked on almost anything. But Microsoft has decided that the era of the classic PC is over. They are moving toward a hardware-locked ecosystem where your operating system isn't just software, it is a gatekeeper. This month, several key security certificates and support cycles are ending simultaneously. When these certificates expire, older versions of Windows 10 and unoptimized versions of Windows 11 will lose the ability to verify their own system files. This results in what the tech community calls a soft brick, where the OS refuses to boot because it no longer trusts the hardware it is sitting on. The main culprit behind this sudden surge of bricked machines is the implementation of mandatory TPM 2.0 requirements and a new security feature called VBS, or Virtualization-Based Security. While these sound like good things for protecting your data, they act as a digital guillotine for computers made just a few years ago. If your computer doesn't meet these specific, often arbitrary hardware standards, the latest updates being pushed out this month can cause the system to enter a permanent repair loop. You might have seen it already, that endless spinning circle that says preparing automatic repair, only for it to fail every single time. This is happening because the update attempts to activate security features that your processor literally cannot handle, causing the system to collapse under its own weight. But wait, it gets even more complicated for American users. Many of the PCs sold through big box retailers between 2017 and 2020 were equipped with processors that were powerful enough for daily tasks, but lacked the specific instruction sets required for the next phase of Windows AI. Microsoft is now pushing the Copilot integration so deeply into the kernel of the operating system that it is essentially changing the fundamental language the computer speaks. If your CPU doesn't speak that language, the update doesn't just fail, it often corrupts the bootloader in the process. This leaves you with a machine that won't even recognize its own hard drive. It is a massive oversight, or perhaps a calculated move, that is leaving millions of Americans stranded without a working computer. So how do you know if your PC is on the endangered species list? If you are running an Intel processor older than the 8th generation, or an AMD Ryzen processor from the 1000 series, you are in the primary danger zone. Even if you managed to bypass the requirements and install Windows 11 a year ago, Microsoft is now closing those loopholes. This month's cumulative update includes a hardware verification check that runs during the boot process. If it detects that you bypass the original requirements, it can trigger a system halt. It's essentially a digital eviction notice. You might have been living in your OS comfortably for months, but now Microsoft is changing the locks. The impact on the average household is going to be massive. Think about the student who needs their laptop for finals, or the small business owner who keeps all their invoices on a desktop in the back office. This update doesn't ask for permission in the way you might expect. Because of how Windows Update is configured by default on most machines, it downloads in the background and prepares for a restart. You might go to bed thinking everything is fine and wake up to a machine that won't get past the BIOS screen. This is why we are calling this an urgent warning. The time to act is before that restart happens. Let's get into the actual steps to stop this process. The very first thing you need to do, right now, is a full system backup. Not just your photos or your documents, but a full system image. If Windows bricks your bootloader, having your files on the cloud is helpful, but it won't help you get back to work. Use a tool like Macrium Reflect, or even the built-in Windows 7 backup tool that still exists in Windows 11. Create a rescue USB drive. This is your life raft. If the update fails and your computer becomes unresponsive, this USB drive will allow you to boot into a safe environment and roll back the changes before they become permanent. Most people ignore this step because it takes 20 minutes and a $5 thumb drive, but it is the difference between a minor annoyance and a total hardware loss. The second step is to take control of your Windows updates. On a standard home version of Windows, Microsoft makes this difficult, but not impossible. You can pause updates for up to 5 weeks. Do this immediately. Go to Settings, then Windows Update, and click on Pause for 1 week. Keep clicking it until the option is grayed out. This gives the global tech community time to find workarounds for the specific bugs in this month's patch. Never be the first person to install a major Microsoft update. Let the early adopters deal with the crashes. In the tech world, being behind the curve is actually a security and stability advantage. For those of you on Windows Pro, you have a much more powerful tool at your disposal, the Group Policy Editor. By navigating to Computer Configuration, Administrative Templates, Windows Components, and then Windows Update, you can set the update frequency to notify for download and notify for install. This prevents Windows from doing anything without your explicit click. This is how IT professionals manage large fleets of computers because they know that an unmonitored update is a recipe for disaster. If you are an American PC owner on the Pro version, you should have this enabled as a matter of principle. Let's talk about the hardware side of the solution. If you find your computer is already starting to act sluggish following a recent minor update, it might be due to a feature called memory integrity or core isolation. This is part of that VBS system I mentioned earlier. On older hardware, this feature can consume up to 30% of your system resources, making it feel like your computer is dying when it's actually just struggling with software overhead. Go to your Windows Security app, navigate to Device Security, and then Core Isolation Details. If memory integrity is on and your PC feels slow, turning it off can often stabilize the system and prevent the thermal runaway that sometimes leads to update failures. It won't make you less secure against standard viruses, but it will make your computer much more stable. Now, we have to address the elephant in the room, the forced migration to the cloud. Microsoft is increasingly linking local account stability to cloud connectivity. This month, a new policy is being enacted where if a local account hasn't synced with a Microsoft server in a certain amount of time, certain security features will lock down. This is particularly troublesome for those who live in rural America where internet connections are spotty, or for those who intentionally keep their machines offline for privacy reasons. To stop this, you need to ensure your local account is properly verified. If you see a notification in your settings that says your account needs attention, do not ignore it. It is often a precursor to a credential lockdown that can prevent you from logging into your own machine even if the hardware is fine. The tech landscape is shifting toward a subscription model for everything, including your hardware's right to exist. This month's updates are a shot across the bow for anyone who wants to own their technology. Bricking a machine doesn't always mean the hardware is broken. It means the software has revoked the license for that hardware to function. It is a form of planned digital decay. But by following these steps, you are effectively opting out of that decay. You are saying that your 3-year-old Dell or your powerful custom-built PC from 2019 still has value. Think about the environmental impact here. If millions of PCs in America are suddenly replaced because of a software update, we are looking at a mountainside of electronic waste. Most of these machines are perfectly capable of running high-end software, editing video, or handling complex spreadsheets. The limit is artificial. This is why it is so important to share this information. It isn't just about saving your own computer. It is about resisting a culture that views perfectly good tools as disposable just because a new AI feature needs a specific type of chip to run a chatbot. Let's look at the Linux alternative. If you get to the point where Windows simply refuses to run on your hardware, do not throw the computer away. There is a massive movement of American tech enthusiasts moving over to Linux distributions like Linux Mint or Pop! OS. These operating systems are free, they are incredibly fast, and they do not have the same hardware restrictions as Windows. They can breathe new life into a machine that Microsoft has labeled obsolete. In many cases, a computer that was struggling with Windows 11 will fly under Linux. It is the ultimate way to tell the big tech companies that they do not control your hardware. But for those who must stay on Windows for work or specific software, the battle for stability continues. There are third-party tools like Rufus that allow you to create Windows 11 installation media that completely strips out the TPM and CPU checks. If you find yourself in a situation where you need to reinstall the OS this month, do not use the standard Microsoft download tool. Use Rufus to create a bypass drive. It is a well-known and trusted tool in the IT world, and it is the best way to ensure that your older American PC stays relevant. We also need to talk about the BIOS or UEFI updates. Often, when a Windows update bricks a machine, it is because there is a conflict between the new OS instructions and the old firmware on the motherboard. This month, before you let Windows handle its major update, go to your manufacturer's website, whether it is HP, Lenovo, or Asus, and check for the latest BIOS update. Improving the communication between your hardware and the software is one of the best ways to prevent a system crash. It sounds daunting to update your BIOS, but modern tools make it as simple as running a small program and restarting. Just make sure you don't lose power during the process. Another hidden danger this month is the drive encryption known as BitLocker. In the latest updates, Windows is turning on BitLocker by default on many machines, even if you never asked for it. If your update fails and your system goes into a repair loop, you will be asked for a 48-digit recovery key. If you don't have this key saved in your Microsoft account or printed out, your data is effectively gone forever. It is locked behind encryption that you didn't even know was active. Please right now search for Manage BitLocker in your Start menu and check the status. If it is on, back up your recovery key immediately. This is the single biggest cause of data loss in American households during major Windows updates. The reason this feels so urgent is that American consumers are the primary target for these first-wave rollouts. Microsoft uses the US market as the testing ground for their most aggressive policies because our consumer protection laws in the digital space are not as strict as they are in places like the European Union. We are the ones who bear the brunt of these experimental updates. If it breaks things here, they fix it before it hits the global market. That is why you, as an American user, have to be twice as vigilant. Let's talk about the psychological aspect of this. Big tech relies on the fact that most people will just get frustrated, give up, and buy a new laptop. It is the path of least resistance, but that path is expensive and unnecessary. When you take the time to learn these workarounds and block the forced updates, you are taking back your power. You are demonstrating that you are a user, not a product. Personal computing was founded on the idea of individual empowerment, and that is exactly what we are trying to preserve here. There is also a social component. Talk to your parents, your grandparents, or your less tech-savvy friends. They are the ones most likely to be hit by this. They will see a pop-up that looks official. Click OK, and 3 hours later their computer will be a black screen. Be the hero in your circle. Go over, pause their updates, back up their keys, and show them how to stay safe. Technology should bring us together, not alienate us through forced complexity. What if the worst has already happened? What if you were listening to this because your PC is already failing? Don't panic. Most soft bricks are reversible. If you can get to a different computer, download the Windows Media Creation tool and use it to create a bootable USB. You can use the Repair My Computer option to roll back the latest quality update. Microsoft keeps the old system files for 10 days after an update for exactly this reason. If you act quickly, you can undo the damage and get back to a stable version of the system. The tech industry wants us to believe that AI is a tidal wave that we can't stop, but at the end of the day, it's just code, and code is something we can manage. Whether it's through registry edits, group policies, or shifting to different platforms, we have the tools to maintain our digital freedom. The June update cycle is just one battle in a much larger war for the future of personal computing. Stay informed, stay active, and don't let your technology dictate your life. Let's do a quick recap of the priority list. First, back up your entire system image. Second, save your BitLocker recovery key. Third, pause your updates for at least 30 days. Fourth, check your BIOS version and update it if necessary. Fifth, disable memory integrity if you are on an older machine to save resources. These 5 steps will shield you from 99% of the issues currently bricking American PCs. It takes less than an hour, but it saves potentially thousands of dollars and countless hours of frustration. We're seeing a lot of reports from users who have the newest Copilot Plus PCs already experiencing issues. Even the hardware designed for this new era isn't perfectly stable. This just goes to show that the software is being rushed out before it's ready. In the history of Windows, the most stable versions were always the ones where the user had the most control. We are moving away from that, but we can still carve out our own space of stability. The American dream used to include a car in every garage and a chicken in every pot. In the 21st century, that dream includes a reliable computer in every home. It is the tool for education, for work, and for connection. When that tool is threatened by corporate policy, it is a matter of national importance. We need to preserve our digital heritage and our right to repair and maintain our own machines. This month is a test of our collective tech literacy. Let's pass it with flying colors. Microsoft will likely release a statement saying that these issues only affect a small percentage of users, but when you have over 1 billion users, a small percentage is still millions of people. You don't want to be a statistic. You want to be a user who knows how to navigate the storm. Keep your rescue drives ready. Keep your eyes on the tech news. And don't be afraid to say no to the latest shiny update until you know it's safe. As we move into the middle of the month, the pressure to update will increase. Windows will start giving you full-screen notifications. It might even try to schedule a restart while you are away from your desk. Be vigilant. Close those windows, check your settings, and make sure your computer stays on the version that you know works. There is a sense of satisfaction in running an old machine that everyone said was dead, knowing that it's just as fast and just as capable as the new models because you knew how to tune it. Remember, the hardware you bought is yours. You paid for it with your hard-earned money. The software is just a guest on your machine. Don't let the guest kick the owner out of the house. By taking these precautions, you are asserting your ownership. You are ensuring that your digital life continues on your terms, not on the terms of a boardroom in Redmond. June is a big month for tech, but it doesn't have to be a bad month for your PC. The sheer volume of data being processed in these new updates is staggering. Every time your computer takes one of those AI snapshots or runs a background security check, it's putting wear and tear on your SSD. For American users with older laptops, this extra heat can actually cause physical damage over time. This is another reason why stopping the forced updates and disabling the unneeded AI features is so crucial. It's not just about software stability. It's about physical longevity. You want your computer to last for as many years as possible. We should also consider the ethical side of this. Is it fair to change the requirements of an operating system halfway through its life cycle? Most experts say no. It's a breach of trust with the consumer. But since there are no laws currently preventing this, it's up to us to protect ourselves. We have to be the regulators of our own digital space. We have to be the ones who decide when a tool is no longer useful, not the company that wants to sell us a new one. In the tech community, we often talk about the right to repair, but we also need to start talking about the right to remain. The right to remain on an operating system that works for you. The right to remain on hardware that is still functional. The right to remain private in an increasingly public digital world. This month's Windows crisis brings all of these issues to the forefront. It's a moment of clarity for anyone who cares about the future of technology. I've seen so many people lose years of work because of a failed update. It is heart-wrenching. They think they did everything right, but they didn't know about these hidden settings. They didn't know about the BitLocker keys or the rescue drives. That is why I am making this video with such a sense of urgency. I want to prevent that heartbreak for as many people as possible. If this video helps even a few hundred people save their machines, then it was worth every minute of research. Stay focused on the goal, a stable, reliable, and private computer. Don't get distracted by the bells and whistles of new AI features that you'll probably never use. Focus on the core functionality that makes your PC important to you. Whether it's gaming, writing, or just staying in touch with family, those are the things that matter. The software should serve those goals, not make them harder to achieve. We are entering a new era of computing, and it is going to be a bumpy ride. But like any transition, those who are prepared will come out on top. Keep your backups current, keep your software under control, and don't be afraid to experiment with alternatives if Windows becomes too much of a burden. The power of the PC has always been its flexibility. Let's make sure it stays that way. Keep an eye out for a follow-up video as we see how this month's rollout progresses. Things are changing fast, and new workarounds are being discovered every day. The tech community is working overtime to ensure that no one gets left behind. You are part of that community now. By staying informed and taking action, you are contributing to a more resilient and independent digital America. Finally, take a deep breath. Technology can be overwhelming, but it is manageable. One step at a time, one setting at a time, you can secure your digital future. Your computer is a wonderful tool, and with a little bit of care and attention, it will continue to serve you for years to come. Don't let this month's Windows update be the end of the road. Let it be the moment you took control and became a more savvy, more protected tech user. Stay safe out there in the digital world. Keep your hardware running, keep your data private, and always remember that you are the one in charge of the power button. No matter what Microsoft says, no matter what the updates try to force, your PC belongs to you. Take these steps, stop the bricking, and keep your American PC working the way it was meant to work. We are in this together, and together we can keep our technology serving our needs, not corporate interests. Good luck, stay vigilant, and I'll see you in the next one as we continue to navigate the fascinating and sometimes treacherous world of modern technology. Your computer is waiting. Go secure it now.